Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Charanam Raja. Aham Tva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shujaha. Papa or the sin is the most sinful topic in all the scriptures. You know, the crowds of human beings put together in a sheep flock is called as religion. And to control the sheep flock, what you have to do? Control the front sheep. All others are automatically controlled. You don't have to go after everyone. And the same thing happens in a crowd or a mob mentality. To control millions of people from a remote distance, what is the technique? There are two techniques used, and these are super remote controls. And these techniques are called as these two things. One is the sin, and second is the fear. If these two things disappear from the human psyche, there is nothing in this world to worry about. The sin, we carry the load on our mind in the form of guilt. And the fear we carry in our mind in the form of suspension of inquiry. We just don't want to go further because we are afraid. So these two things are the damaging factors in the life of a seeker. You know, in the morning class, we are studying Tripura Rahasya. It is one of the very rare texts and extremely difficult. And there, this topic comes. What is moksha? What is liberation? Liberation has got these two aspects. One is freedom from the imagination of sin, and second is freedom from the fear. So here Bhagwan says, Aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshayishyami. I shall free you from all the sins. Now let us understand everything about sin. And when you get out of something with understanding and knowledge, then you are firm. If you don't, then you continue to suffer. One or two examples I will give you, and then we will go into the technical understanding of what this thing called as sin means. Once there was a man. He came to a Mahatma, and so many people were sitting. He came, lashing everybody, and sat very nearer to the Mahatma and started telling, "Sir, please save me. I don't want to go to hell." "Why you will go to hell? Did you obtain visa?" "Yes, I got a permanent visa to go to hell." "What you have done?" "What I have not done? Every kind of sin I have done. then it is said that if you commit sins, you go to hell. And please save me. But what you have done? So he enumerates a big list. 1, 2, 3, 4, n. So I just can't sleep. I can't eat. I am all the time tense. I am frustrated. Because now the time has come that I will have to go to hell. Please protect me. Mahatma Ji said, I promise you shall not go to hell. There was one Mahatma in where I met him. Very nice person. He said, Swamiji, I hear you on TV every now and then. Therefore, I started liking you. So I'll tell you something which will suit your temperament. I said, tell me. He said, if you want to please the Punjabis, North Indians, talk to them about Vedanta. They will be very happy. Then they will accept you that you are someone really great. If you have to talk to the Gujaratis, he was a professional Mahatma like me. So, if you talk to the Gujaratis and you want to win over the Gujaratis, then bring emotion and Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. Gujaratis are caught. And he said, if you want to catch the Marwaris, then neither Jai Krishna can help nor Vedanta can help. Then what is that? You tell them, aapki dhana shuddhi ho jayegi. And if you tell them that their wealth can be purified, you know that technique, you can hook them very easily. See where we get caught. So this Mahatma said, so what I should do? Mahatma said, don't worry, you shall not go to hell. But how come? He said, where are you now? Are you living life? Or carrying your own dead body on your own mind? See, aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshayishyami. I shall free you from all your sins. Now, what is this philosophy of sin? Please understand. We are born as human beings, and human beings alone have the freedom of doership. Another example I'll give you. One day I was seeing some program on Discovery Channel, and there was one sweet child sitting with me. Swamiji, you also like Discovery? I said, yes. I want to discover the whole world, so I see the Discovery Channel. Good. And then we got the channel, we see. And the program going was, some tiger or lion was chasing a deer, and finally he catches. Immediately she closed, Swamiji, how do you like that? See, such a terrible tiger. I said, okay, we'll switch off. We switched off. Then the question, will that tiger get a sin if he kills that innocent deer? Now see, I asked, I said, when you take a glass of milk, do you get sin? No. I said, you should get. Why? For whom is the milk given by the buffalo? For her child or you? Are you not snatching away the milk of some other child and becoming like a buffalo? Then I told, I said, look here, When a tiger bounces his prey and eats, it is a natural state of his existence. See, when we take food, do we have that sense that don't disturb, digestion in progress? No. Digestion happens. We do not do digestion as an event, as an act. And therefore, when we have a constipation, it is not a sin. And when we have a dysentery, it is not a merit. Think. What is the reason? The reason is digestion or all other physiological activities are conducted in nature without the involvement of a doership. And therefore, the three kinds of lives which are told in our scriptures, the higher life, gods, etc., the lower lives, animals, etc., and in between the human beings, it is the human beings alone who have the freedom and right for karma. And therefore, human beings alone can incur merit or sin. Neither the animals nor the gods. Make it very clear to yourself. And therefore, whenever suppose we have earned a lot of sins, then as a result of those sins, we go in the lower births like animals, etc., and exhaust all those sinful results. And if we have done some meritorious acts, we go to the heavens. But how long can you stay there? Kshine punne martyalokam vishanti. The moment your bank balance is over, you are pushed back. Again in the human form. Therefore, when we are told about papa, the first principle it tells that the sin is associated with the doership. If we want to get out of the sin, now be attentive. Sin can never exist independently. Sin is having its twin, the merit. See, there cannot be a day without the night. There cannot be the health without the disease. There cannot be the riches without the poverty. There cannot be good without bad. So also, there cannot be sin without merit. And as much the sin binds us, so much the merit also binds us. See, whether we are tied down by a steel chain or we are tied down by a golden chain, we are bound. And you know the funny thing, the steel chain which is used for tying down the criminals is very strong and thick. And the golden chain which binds us is very thin. And yet the bondage of the golden chain is very strong. Think. Therefore, when the Lord says, Aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami, so papa includes the merit also, not only the sins. We are bound in this world not only by the sins alone, but both merit and the sin. Our scriptures tell, when we have predominance of the sins, we are born as the animals. When we have the predominance of the merits, we are born as higher gods. And when we are 50-50, then we are born as a human being. Therefore, the problem of our existence is not only sins, but also the merits. Now, the third step. Whether it is a sin or a merit, doership is essential for creation of the results. Make it very clear. So, what is the doership? Doership is a notion that I do something. It is just a notion. We have seen throughout Bhagavad Gita many places. One or two examples I'll give you because we are summarizing. Prakrute kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. Now see, the world is created by God. God is Gujarati. G for Gujarati. So the world is created by God. The world that we contact through our senses, through our organs of action, they are also created by God. Their contact is established again by His divine will and power. Where is a place for the I to be born? See? And therefore, ahankara vimudhatma, only a fool considers that I am the doer. Now I'll give examples of the fools, one or two. We know you are coming to us. Parents, first of all. We imagine that because of us, the children are growing. And then a lot of expectations start growing in our mind. With the growth of the child, expectations also grow. And then typical Hindi cinema dialogue. यही दिन देखने के लिए तुमको पड़ा किया. To see this day, did I grow you up? What you have done, sir? Every morning, I get up and however, as if those who don't have parents, they don't grow. One day I saw one person this size. Hey, I saw you 30 years before. How come you are like this? No parents, Swamiji. So I don't grow. See? Ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. The day we recognize this fallacy in our thinking, our notions will change. And when the notions will change, you are not given a painkiller by Bhagavad Gita. Please remember. What is a painkiller? Painkiller is that medicine where the potential cause of the pain is maintained. That is not removed. And what is that? Then Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam Vrata Paripalanam Athavadanam. You do this charity, you do this thing, everything will be all right. You do this thing, everything will be all right. Pandityu ko lagao and do the Mrityunjay Japa, you will be all right. Aha. See, please remember this very clearly. It is our own foolishness that we have that arrogance. Where is the place for this? This arrogance can come only out of foolishness. And fools have to suffer. There is no way out. Unless you are in India. You know, in India we have got democracy. And democracy is the rule of majority. And the majority is always of fools. And therefore in democracy the fools rule the wise. And the wise only sit in the drawing room and have pan masala. Nothing beyond it. So the sin is born out of the sense of doership. First principle. Now if we want to get out of the sins, What we have to do is correct our attitude. Be very attentive. Correct our attitude at 3 levels with reference to karma. We have to correct ourselves with reference to karma before doing the karma, at the time of doing the karma, and after the karma is done. If there is no karma, there is no sin or merit. Legally, the paper that we sign, they are called as deeds, isn't it? What is the deed? Action plus doership is a deed. We don't have the kriya phala. We have got the karma phala. So what is the karma? Karma is kriya, action, plus the sense of doership is called as karma. And this karma gives us trouble. And what is the trouble of the karma? Either the sin or the merit. So how do we correct it? So there are 3 stages, and these 3 stages form the crux of removal of the sin from our life. The first is, what is our attitude before we undertake any action? There are 2 possibilities. One possibility, we do something out of the desire to earn something out of this world. So desire prompted activities first. Now when we are too much obsessed and overpowered by desires, we lose the sense of proportion. Then how much more money I should accumulate? And don't hesitate even to bribe that Lakshmi Pati Tirupati Balaji. If I get 24 crores in a year, 50%, where from that thing comes? These are all desire promptings. And friends, desire has no end. Look into your own life. Right from childhood onwards, how many desires we have fulfilled? 1, 2, there is no end to that. And yet, have we discovered freedom from the virus of desires? No. And yet we don't understand that we are victimized by our own virus called as the desire. And because of this ignorance, we imagine prosperity means fulfillment of desires. Prosperity doesn't mean fulfillment of desires. Fulfillment of desires means disaster. See how important it is. But this doesn't click. And as a result, such a person, to fulfill his or her desires, doesn't hesitate to take any course in life. And when you are young, the blood is boiling. Hey, who cares for anything? And you grow. And after you have crossed 40 plus, then all the changes start happening in your life. See, I told probably you once, I was in South Africa and a person who was driving me was driving so slow and I was getting disgusted. I said, such lovely wide roads, run nicely. There is no speed limit anywhere. So he told me, Swamiji, even if we go very fast, at the most we will save 5 minutes. So why run fast? He said, hey, you are really a great philosopher. He was very happy. I said, hey, let's play something. He said, yes, we'll play something. Then one car passed nearby. So I asked him, I said, tell me, what is the age of the driver of this car? He said, what is that question funny? I said, we are playing. Something we have to play. I don't know. I said, I can tell you. The age of this driver who just now passed was 18. How do you know? I said, I'll tell you afterwards. Another one. That driver, his age was 32. And I told about half a dozen cars. He says, Swamiji, stop it. Tell me, how are you telling? I said, there is a rule. What is that rule? The speed of the car and the age of the driver. Isn't it? When the speed is very high, the age is low. And when the speed is very slow, like our car, 30 kilometers per month. Swamiji, you are calling me old? I said, no, dilapidated. Calling me old. See? When little bit age grows, then all what we have done and not done in our youthful days, all those things start like the pops, whether you want or not. Therefore, they are called as pops. You know, the pops on your monitor and the pops in your mind, they are synonymous. Then you start feeling, I shouldn't have done this thing. I shouldn't have done that thing. And all our good and bad doings, they start persecuting us. See? And then, this whatever we hear and hear. One person asked me, Swamiji, tell me really, don't bluff. So what is that? Is there really hell? I said, yes. How many? I said, there are 28 types of hells. The menu is in Bhagavad Mahapuran. You can study there. There are 28 types of hells and you can choose. See, a big menu is there. But really it is there. I said, yes. What they do? I said, they take you and put you in a boiling oil pan. And you know, in the hell, the beauty is that you don't die. So you are made into huge pakoda. And then you are laid on the table and all the vultures are called around. They come and start taking away the meat one by one. And yet you don't die. And after that torture is over, then they take you and put you another thing. Like that it goes on. How long? Depending upon how many sins you have done. Swamiji, it is so frightening. I have read somewhere, but you are also telling it is true. I have lost my sleep. Now see, the sin and the merit. The sin and the merit is a pop which comes in the mind of everyone in this world. See? Therefore, before doing the karma, be very attentive. Are our activities the expressions of desire promptings, or there is a self-control before we act in this world? Later regrets have no place in life. See, Bhagwan Shankaracharya's slok. Ayurnashyati pashyatam pratidinam yati kshayam yauvanam pratyayati punargatana divasa kalo jagadbhakshakaha lakshmi stoya taranga bhanga chapala vidyuchalam jeevitam. See? Three things. Every day that is passing doesn't come back. And all what we have been doing in our life is aaj kare so kal kar, kal kare so parso, अरे भैया परसों भी क्यों करना, जीना है अब बरसों. To whom are we deceiving? You know, living the spiritual life is the last option, not priority. Forget about priority. It is the last option. So when we are unable to read, we want to study Upanishad. When we are unable to sit in one posture, then we want to sit for meditation, like a Kathakali meditation. When we are not able to hear, we go to Satsang. See, in short, when we have become unfit for everything, we are fit for spirituality. See, friends, Ayurnashyati Pashyatam Pratidinam. Every addition of day to the life is the subtraction of life from our everyday. When are we going to become aware about it? And to bring this awareness in our life right from the childhood is the imposition of the dharma in our life. Dharma is not for making us fear of or afraid of sin and merit. No. Dharma is imposing self-imposed control on ourselves. See, we have been told in this chapter that humanity can be classified under 4 categories. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. If we live our life according to the inherent tendencies with what we are born, the result will be, we will be leading a life of self-discipline. And when we have this notion or understanding in our mind that I am the son of such a parents, how can I go the wrong way? I belong to that culture, that tradition. How can I do such a nasty thing? See, the whole life will change because now we belong to something higher, something noble. See, friends, the other day I was talking to one retired military person, a very good friend of mine. He is migrated to USA now. So I asked him, I said, hey, Colonel Saab, tell me, what is the condition of our Indian military now? He said, Swamiji, you ask a wrong question. I said, I do always wrong things. That is my speciality. Tell me. He said, there are many posts of officer cadre which are not filled because there is nobody who wants to join the army now. There was a time when joining army was considered as a great patriotic force which was compelling the people, youngsters, to go and join the army. Now what is the ideal for the youngsters? Why should we go to the army and risk our life when we can earn more by being a politician or misappropriation? See, what is that which can prompt us to risk our life for the sake of the nation? See, therefore, it is extremely necessary that we are reminded of our culture, our tradition, the greatness to what we belong to. This alone can impose control from within. And friends, self-imposed control on our lifestyle and behavior is called as Dharma Shastra. See, if our Dharma tells us, you should not sleep beyond 5 o'clock in the morning. Don't you get any other example, Swamiji? Is the only example of dharma? Getting up early in the morning. Suppose I am a chowkidar then. See, the whole life will change. If you have decided that you have to begin your day early in the morning at 4 o'clock, you know what will happen? You will have to go to bed very early. The moment you go to bed early, all your late night sins will disappear. See? This is the basic thing. Therefore, friends, please understand, our scriptures are not our enemies. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya karyo vyavasthitau. So to control our desire prompted participation in this world is the brake applied by the Shastra Praman. And Shastra Praman talks with the classified data, not a common thing. Elephant and a rat in the same way. No, it cannot be. There cannot be the same rule for everybody, depending upon the capacity. One day somebody asked our Swami Vivekananda, then how come in your religion there are so many gods and so many paths? See, in our Christianity, only one God, one day, one book, one priest and one everything. He said, you people are intelligent because you teach only one uniform and try to fit everybody in that. If somebody comes out more, cut him out. If somebody is less, pull him out. No. Depending upon our psychological makeup, then only we can talk sense. See? Therefore, this is the first step to control the impact of the karma on us before we begin the karma. First of all, find out, are we going the right way? Is it the right thing that we are doing? If it is not right, should be rejected outright. How the desire will not be controlled? Because now our attention is on what is right and wrong, not what I like or I dislike. Liking and disliking is the disease of mind. And to come out of the disease of mind called as liking and disliking, the impact is to find out what is right and what is wrong. Right should be accepted whether we like or we don't like. And wrong should be rejected whether we like or we don't like. See? Automatically, all our actions will be taken care of before we do anything in life. First. Now the second step, where we get involved in creating the sin or the merit. When we have done the action, I'll come in the center afterwards. When we have done the action, we are bound to get the result of the action. Now this is the rule. Now what this rule will tell us? This rule tells us, whatever we have in our life, joys and sorrows, they are created by us, and for that nobody is responsible in this world. See? Normally, it's a human tendency to blame others for the failures of our life. And as long as we go on blaming others, we have not become spiritual and we are not leading the life in a scientific manner. See? In this world, if we have to live, we have to change, not the world. But what is happening? Every one of us want others should change. The husband wants the wife should change. The wife wants husband should change. And both of them understand nothing and only thing, tutu, my, tutu, hu tutu. If you are a Gujarati, hu tutu, kabaddi, kabaddi, kabaddi. Whole life goes in that. See? To get out of these mutual blame for others, the rule is, whatever we are today, we are squarely responsible for that. Accept the responsibility of your life's failure or success. What will happen? You stop blaming others. And you start improving yourself. See? How we will improve ourselves? Now the third thing. First I told you before doing the karma. Then I told you after doing the karma. So whatever comes in our life, don't blame the world. Bhagavan very clearly tells in Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu. Whatever karma we do, they are not created by God. Kartrutvam, the sense of doership, is also not created by God. It is our own creation. Don't blame God. Now, the moment you take this principle in your life with letter and spirit, that whatever you have today, it is your own creation. Now, the result of this acceptance will be what? Whatever I will live in the present life, that will create my next life. See? And therefore, it is my responsibility to give a right kind of blueprint to the Creator before I die. Every day that we live in this world, we are creating our blueprint for the next life. If we have created a blueprint and given to the God, and God will say, okay, and then we are born as a pig. Why did you make me God pig? See your demands, your blueprint, only eating, procreation and sleeping, nothing else. What can He do? Out of great compassion and love, He has specially manufactured that body for us. See? Therefore, now the third principle. While doing the karma, be very, very attentive. While doing the karma, are we under the compulsion of desires? One. While doing the karma, are we blaming the world for the problems that we face when we are doing something? Or, while we are doing the karma, we are into it so much with all the rules and regulations that we have no time to blame others and we have no time to daydream about the result of the karma. As a result, you are in the absolute present, fully one with your duties. Friends, such a person can experience only joy. How simple it is. Next step. When you start living the life of responsibility, a stage comes in life wherein we start comparing ourselves with others. I have been responsible in my whole life. Nobody is responsible in our house. I don't know what will happen to this world if I die. They are waiting. But we start imagining that I am really responsible and very, very nice and goody fellow. To come out of that clutch, then Bhagavan told us in this 18th chapter, Sve sve karmanne bhirataha samsiddhim labate naraha. By doing our duties in a joyful, cheerful manner, we start slowly getting efficiency in everything that we do. And thereafter, now correct your psychology. What is that psychology? Instead of carrying the load of your responsibilities, do that as a worship to the Lord. All your load of doership will be unloaded. And when every action is done as a worship to the Lord, you will never get tired in life. You can never have the arrogance of doing anything to the Lord. Can we say, go to the Tirupati Balaji, who is the Lakshmi Pati, he who owns all the three worlds, and to him when we give, Balaji, Sawwa Rupiya. Isn't it? You cannot have the arrogance before the bright blazing sun. If we go with our small little torch, it can't even recognize. When the Lord is involved in all our activities of our life, the arrogance of doership disappears once for all. And when the arrogance of doership disappears, you cannot create sin or merit. Friends, when you don't create sins and merits, then you disappear. See? Alt, control, delete yourself. Either alter or control or do the both things together and delete yourself. The moment you delete yourself, he takes care. Like the Nawab Wada of Lucknow. It was owned by a Nawab. In the partition, that Nawab has died or gone wherever he has gone. When the owner vacated, that building was there. It was occupied by government. Who is the government? Totality. The moment the small I disappears, the absolute I takes possession. And thereafter, he starts functioning from the same counter wherefrom we were encountering the world. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami. Friends, there cannot be any sin or merit created thereafter when you have departed. Therefore, what is meant over here by the Lord, that sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, you vacate. I shall take care of everything. And this thing has to be done with proper understanding. Please remember that devotion, surrender to the Lord, it is not a burden to the Lord. Oh Lord, try. He is not a bullock. You do your job sincerely and happily. Let every action of ours be the manifestation of the divine bliss. You can never create sin and merit. Sin and merits are created when actions are performed under compulsion and frustration. But when the same actions are the expression of your own free will and joy, such actions do not create any sin or merit. Thereafter, we are living the life as a hobby of living, not as a compulsion of living. See? I am very much fond of classical music. And one day, I was so tired, I came from long journeys and I landed in Pune. Earlier, about 10-15 days, exhausted completely, and in the long journey, maybe about 18 hours of flight. And when I went to Pune, I told my friend, hey, I am going to sleep for 2 days. Okay, no phone, no nothing, no food. So, he said, Swamiji, at least eat something and then sleep. I said, all right. And when I was just washing my face, then husband and wife were talking to each other. See, I have got that ticket for Swamiji because he likes this particular singer and it's such a nice thing, but he's so tired now. I said, hey, what is puchud going on? No, Swamiji, she doesn't understand anything. I said, that I know, that's why she married you. Tell me what is the problem. So, then she said, Swamiji, my husband has purchased a ticket for you and him so that you can go and listen to that classical concert. It is tonight. From 9 till maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. At the moment I saw the ticket and the singer whom I like the most, all my tiredness, exertion gone. See, when we live life as a duty, as a burden, you will suffer. When you live life as a hobby, see, hobby is not a compulsion. It is your joy that is manifesting. Let every moment of our life be lived as an expression of joy, friends. Once I told you a story. By God's grace, you must have forgotten it. God's grace is on everyone, God has created the inert world. The stones and the mountains and the rivers and the planets. He saw, he was not very satisfied. Then he created the plant kingdom. Again he saw the plant kingdom, he was not very satisfied. Then he created the animal kingdom. And again he saw around the whole animal kingdom, he was not satisfied. And he was so frustrated, with his 4 hands he held his 4 heads. Brahmaji has got 4 heads. Pentium 4. He has got 4 heads. And he was frustrated. So Brahmani said, what's wrong with you today? You are looking little down. Can I help you? What can you help me? What do you know? I know nothing, but even then I thought that I may be helpful to you. Actually, I have created the whole world, but I am not finding fulfillment of creation. What I should do, I don't know. So I am thinking and worried about it. Then she said, may I suggest something? You can suggest me something. Okay, suggest. Then Brahmani told Brahmaji, why don't you create something like you but with 1 head? Because with 4 heads I know what is the problem. When you say, I got a headache, I have to search which head. So 1 is enough. So why don't you create someone like you and me but with 1 head? And Brahman said, hey, you are a genius. Then what do you think? Even a dead clock gives correct time twice a day. You know that? I am a living wife. And then God created man in his image. And only it is human beings alone who can express existence, consciousness and bliss in its entirety. The inert world has got existence. The plant kingdom has got existence but science and science of life. The animal kingdom has got existence, science of life and the mind. Human beings have additional faculty of reason, understanding and expression of joy. And that is why when we see out of the same note, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, expansion is an expression of happiness. And the crows, whatever sound they were bringing out from day one, the same thing continues. The donkeys have been only braying, they cannot improve upon. Don't go to the Disney World. I am talking about reality. See? Finding Nemo. Have you seen that? All outdated. This is the latest, movie. It is so beautiful. You do see that. You really love that. So there every fish and everybody goes on talking. No. The real fulfillment is discovered only in the human form. Because human form is perfect and here alone happiness can be completely expressed. And if we can express that infinite divine happiness through us, then alone we have lived scientifically. Otherwise, a beautiful car. The other day, I was in California and a very long drive from San Jose to San Francisco. Very nice road we are driving. So, my friend asked me, Swami, what are you seeing? Have you seen the different models of cars? This is called as, the Toyota. This is called as Chevrolet. And now Toyota and Chevrolet have come together. They are calling that model as a toilet. So, we were nicely going. I said, I am not seeing that. I am seeing something more than that. What is that? I said, I am seeing the person behind the steering wheel. Car is beautiful and the driver is awful. What is the use of that life? Where you have got prosperity outside and frustration inside. See? The real fulfillment of life is the ability, the freedom and the will to express your divine bliss in spite of everything around us. Then only we have really lived life. Doesn't matter what we have. What is important is whatever we have, how we are with what we have. That is important. Therefore, here is a very clear demonstration. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. You shall go beyond relativity. Please understand. Papa means papa and punya. The sin and the merit. We have to get out of this relative existence. In this relative world, there cannot be anything as absolute papa or absolute punya. Even if you are doing some great charitable work, there will be some sin occurring. Even if you do some sinful act, there will be some kind of goodness even in that sinful act. There cannot be anything absolute in the relative world. Therefore, when the Lord says, Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, means only one thing. Get out of the relative existence and discover the absolute reality that you are. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. And how do we do that? Surrender your ego. And what is the meaning of surrendering the ego? What is the meaning that we have surrendered to the electricity? Doesn't mean we go and put the coil around our head and die. No. We have studied what electricity is. We have studied the laws under which electricity operates. And then third thing, we have accepted those laws. And with this knowledge, we come in contact with electrical energy. In the same manner, let us know the laws of life. the laws of merit, the laws of sin, the laws of karma phala, when all this knowledge is distinctly clear, accept, apply, you can never commit sins. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. So what is the crux? The crux is, as long as I, the doer, is, sin or merit is created. The moment I, the doer, disappears, there is neither sin nor merit. And how he can disappear? Only by one thing. That sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Always keep in tune with the divine reality that you are. Don't get carried away by the wrappings in which we are presented to the world. Focus attention on that absolute reality which is supporting all the waking experiences, all the dream experiences, all the deep sleep experiences, and yet is never contaminated by the sins of the waker, the dreamer, or the deep sleeper. Discover that you are the substratum of all the relativity. This is the way. There is no other way. Then there is no going to hell and no going to heaven. There is no sin, there is no merit. The ultimate in our scriptures is, Gaudapadacharya writes in his Karika on Mandukya Upanishad, Na nirodho na cha utpatti, na baddho na cha sadhakaha, na muktaha na mumukshurvai, ityesha paramarthata. The truth is this. Never we have committed any sin. Never we can commit any merit. Because the one who is committing the sin or the merit, does he have valid, real existence, or he is a virtual reality? See? Find out. Who is this one? Who is suffering, miserable? How can I kill my nears and dears in this battlefield? I will incur a lot of sin. First of all, try to do the sin. You cannot. See? You know, when a criminal has committed lots of crimes and the police ambushes him and tells, better you surrender. You are already caught. And that criminal in that room kills himself. And afterward the police goes for taking care of the body. So what they will write? Criminal seized, file closed. In the same manner, the moment this I. Arjun, do you think that by your will the world is going? See? Everything is happening in this totality as a great grand planning. But we imagine lost in our whole life, living in a cul-de-sac. There and there, not going out of it. This is the sin. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Now this is the sin I told you from the relative angle. Now the position of the sin from the absolute angle. See, it is something like this. I am a son of a king. And it so happened that I was a child. This story comes in one of the commentaries of Bhagavan Shankaracharya, that there was a king and his small child, hardly 6 months or 8 months, was stolen away by a thief. And the ayah could do nothing, and the child was taken away. And then the child was virtually declared not traceable dead. And the child was brought up by a dacoit. child became grown up, very strong man. And when he was about 20-25, then the king was again re-attacked by his own son. The son doesn't know that he is the son of the same king. That was the plan by that dacoit. And when he entered, this maidservant, old one, she saw, and she recognized one mark on that dacoit. So she went and said, please don't kill me, I will not do any harm to you, but I want to tell you something. And then she told that, are you really the son of the dacoit? He said, of course, what is this? Then again she asked, 1 or 2 signs on his body. Are these signs on your body? Yes. Then she narrates him the whole story. That in reality, you are the son of this king. The moment he comes to know this, will he ever attack? Think. The moment we come to discover our essential nature, can we be victimized by this virus of desire? What for we want desire fulfillment? For miserable being? No, for happiness. When we discover that we are the source of the absolute happiness, we can never be the beggars through the balls of our senses in this filthy world of relativity. Then alone we can get out of all the sins. Therefore, Valmiki Ramayana tells, the real sin is what? Forgetting our divine nature and mistaking ourselves to be a relative jiva or the body is the highest sin. See? Anyatha santam atmanam anyatha pratipadyate. We are essentially divine. But we declare ourselves to be papoham papakarmaham. Why condemn? As we should not condemn others, equally we should not condemn ourselves. Discover your divinity. This is the highest sin. That although we are the children of immortality, we claim ourselves to be the product of this matter. No. This recognition of our own essential self is the only way to get out of the sins of relativity. Therefore, aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami and ma shuchaha. He gives the final assurance that Arjun, don't be miserable don't worry. See, you must have experienced some time, or your children must have done it and you must have explained them. Sometimes you see some bad dream, or the children see the bad dream, and they get up crying, Mommy has a very bad dream. One child got up in the morning, started crying. Dad said, hey, don't cry early in the morning. You are just like your mom. Stop that. No, Dad, a very bad dream. What bad dream you can have? I failed in the examination. Even in the dream you cannot pass. The father retorted. So the failure of the dream is not worthy of becoming a miserable thing. In the same manner, when you come to discover your essential nature, then you come to know that all what we have been doing have been simply playing the game, but we suddenly lost that this is a game. See? Like in our country, we are playing the game as a politics and destroying the games, and we are having the politics as a game and destroying the country. See, both the places where politics should not be, in the games the politics is brought, and where the political situation should improve the country, so they are playing the game of politics, wherein I get more horse trading and then I can win and do the things. See friends, the whole problem is only this wrong identity. Let us get out of this wrong identity. So the first chapter started with this preposition. Arjuna was miserable on the battlefield, not because he was not a warrior, not because he has experienced perpetual failures in his life, not because he did not have the sufficient courage to fight the war, not because he was not prepared. On the contrary, Arjuna has spent all the 12 years in the forest only acquiring more and more weapons. He was fully prepared. Only one thing which has taken away the years from him was wrong identity, the identity crisis. Friends, the moment we get out of the identity crisis of our life as to who am I? Am I the body, the prana, the mind, the intellect, or the one who is supporting all of them, and therefore the substratum who is never influenced by the superimposed? The moment our identity crisis is over, everything settles down. See, all the problems are born out of this one problem. We have not discovered our own essential nature. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. There is nothing to worry about. Recognize your own identity. And after having told this, idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashu shrushave vacham na cha mam yopyasuyati yaimam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva vidhasyati bhakti mai param kritva mame vaishatya samchayaha na cha tasman manusheshu kaschinme priyakruttamaha bhavita na cha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi adheshate cha ya imam dharmyam saumadamavayoho jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti mevatihi shraddhavanana suyascha shrunuyadapi yonaraha sopi muktan shubhan lokan prapnuyat punyakarmanam kachideta shrutam partha tvaya ekagrena chetasa kachid ajnana sammohaha pranashtaste dhananjaya. In the last but few verses, here the Lord tells some discipline when we study any scientific book. Whenever we study anything, there has to be a decorum, a discipline, then only the study will become fructifying. If we do not follow the strict disciplining while studying Bhagavad Gita, we will be creating harm for ourselves. It is something like this. Because I can afford, I want to fulfill all the desires of my child, and then he wants to play with a real gun. Then I give it to him. He doesn't know how to use that. The result will be, he will be harming himself as well as others because he has the power, but he doesn't have the wisdom. Friends, the power without wisdom creates today's politicians. We have to have the power and also the wisdom how to utilize that power. And when this power is corrupted by the selfishness, the same power, instead of becoming an asset, becomes a liability. The same thing happens in the study of the scriptures. When the study of scripture is done for earning money, we are going the wrong way. Scriptures are not studied for earning money. Scriptures are not spoken of for earning money or giving money. That is a secondary thing. The primary thing is, this is the real devotion to the Lord. All these topics are brought out very beautifully by the Lord, and thereafter Sanjay will conclude, Arjuna will tell. This last portion of this Bhagavad Gita is most thrilling and most dramatic. What it is, how it is, we will see tomorrow, and conclude with this tomorrow all our sessions. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.